In the year 2026, humanity is facing a silent epidemic of invisibility. Not the invisibility of being unseen, but the invisibility of being exactly like everyone else. We have been conditioned from the very moment of our birth to fear the silence of the outsider. From the classrooms of our youth to the digital arenas of our adulthood, we are taught that fitting in is the ultimate survival strategy. We are told that to be normal is to be safe. But look closely at the architecture of modern society. This safety is a cage. This normal is a graveyard where the unique frequency of your soul goes to die. This is the 34th briefing of Timeless Wisdom, and today, we are going to dismantle the most dangerous illusion of all, the belief that you must belong to the herd to be whole. To fit in is to agree to your own disappearance. It is a slow, methodical erasure of the self in exchange for the hollow comfort of the crowd. Most people spend their entire lives wearing a mask that was carved by the expectations of a world that doesn't even know their name. They speak in borrowed sentences, they chase hollow goals dictated by algorithms, and they measure their self-worth by the fickle applause of people they don't even respect. This is not living, this is a slow, agonizing spiritual suffocation. The moment you stop trying to fit in, you regain an immense amount of vital energy that was previously wasted on social performance. When you finally accept that you are an outlier, you stop being a prisoner of the mediocre middle. To reach the peaks of true wisdom, you must first survive the cold valley of being alone. Your lack of belonging is not a defect, my friend, it is your ultimate filter against a world that wants to process you into a nameless, faceless commodity. The crowd demands your soul as the entry fee to their club, but the price is too high for anyone who wishes to truly see. We live in a time where the pressure to conform has become architectural. Our cities, our offices, and even our digital spaces are designed to reward the mimic and punish the original. If you think like everyone else, you are rewarded with likes and validation. If you dare to step out of the line, you are met with the cold wind of social exile. But it is in that very exile that the great individuals of history were forged. The man who is comfortable in the crowd will never discover what lies beyond the horizon. He is too busy making sure his shadow doesn't look different from the person standing next to him. To be a master of wisdom, you must first become a master of your own solitude. You must realize that the fear of being different is actually the fear of being free. The social prison has no walls, only the invisible threads of your own desire to be liked by people who are themselves terrified of their own uniqueness. What is the true cost of belonging? To belong to the majority in the year 2026, you must often perform a daily ritual of self-betrayal. You must suppress your intuition to harmonize with the collective roar. You must ignore the still, small voice inside you that tells you this path is wrong, simply because everyone else is walking it with a smile on their faces. Think of the psychological toll this takes over a decade, over a lifetime. When you live a borrowed life, your spirit begins to wither from lack of use. You become a shadow, an echo of someone else's reality. The outlier, however, understands a fundamental truth that the crowd has forgotten: it is far better to walk alone in the right direction than to follow 1,000 people off a cliff of mediocrity. The masters of old, the Stoics, the hermits, the visionaries, all knew that the price of genius is a period of profound, often painful, isolation. In this hyper-connected age, the pressure to conform has moved from the physical world into the very chemistry of your brain. The algorithm is the new high priest of conformity. It creates a digital herd where everyone thinks they are being unique while wearing the same mass-produced thoughts. But a soul that is tethered to the opinions of the masses can never fly. True wisdom requires a level of detachment that the average person finds absolutely terrifying. It requires you to look into the abyss of your own solitude and find it beautiful, rather than frightening. If you are terrified of being alone with your own thoughts, you will always be a slave to whoever offers you the loudest distraction. The outlier has made peace with the silence. He has turned his isolation into a fortress of observation, and from that fortress, he can see the world as it truly is, not as the herd wishes it to be. He is the one who sees the fire while the others are arguing about the shadows on the wall. This sacred disobedience is not about being loud or causing chaos. It is a quiet, internal no, it is the refusal to let your mind be colonized by the slogans of the day. When you refuse to fit in, you are reclaiming your biological and spiritual sovereignty. You are saying that your life is not a project to be approved by a committee of strangers. This independence is what makes the crowd so angry. Your freedom is a mirror that reflects their own chains. When they see someone who doesn't need their approval, it forces them to realize that they are slaves to it. Do not expect the world to thank you for your authenticity. They will try to pull you back into the line, they will use guilt, they will use shame, and they will use the threat of loneliness. But the outlier knows that the loneliness of the crowd is far more painful than the solitude of the mountain. One is a cage, the other is a throne. The outlier is the ultimate observer of the human comedy. Because he does not belong to the game, he is the only one who can see the rules clearly. While everyone else is busy fighting for a seat at a table that doesn't even matter, the outlier is busy building his own garden in the wilderness. There is a specific, ironclad strength that only develops in the total absence of outside approval. When no one is cheering for you, you are forced to develop an internal fire that doesn't require external fuel. This is the bedrock of what I call sovereignty. You cannot become a master of your own destiny if you are constantly looking over your shoulder to see if the crowd agrees with your movements. The crowd is a fickle monster, it will love you today and crucify you tomorrow for the exact same reasons. Why would you build the house of your soul on such shifting, treacherous sands? To not fit in is to be a living, breathing proof that freedom is still possible in a world of automated thoughts and scripted emotions. It is a quiet, steady victory over the massive machinery of social engineering that seeks to make us all interchangeable. Every time you stand your ground, every time you refuse to repeat a popular lie just because it is convenient, you are unknowingly giving a secret signal to other outliers across the world. You are creating a beacon in the dark. Your authenticity acts as a natural repellent for the shallow and a magnetic force for the sincere. You will lose friends when you begin to walk your own path. This is a guarantee you must accept. Sis will be gossiped about in the hallways of the status quo. You will be judged by those who lack the courage to do what you are doing. Let them judge. Their judgment is merely a mirror reflecting their own internal cowardice. They are not truly angry at you, they are angry at the reminder that they, too, could have been free if they hadn't sold their souls for a sense of belonging. Think of the great leaders of thought. None of them were popular in their own time. They were the ones who saw the world differently, who spoke a language that the masses couldn't yet understand. If you fit in perfectly with your current environment, it is a sign that you are not growing beyond it. Growth is a process of outgrowing your surroundings. It is a process of becoming misfit for the old world so that you can become the architect of a new one. The outlier doesn't seek to destroy the crowd, he simply chooses to no longer be a part of it. He understands that his time is too valuable to be spent arguing with people who are committed to their own blindness. He saves his energy for the deep work, for the quiet contemplation, and for the pursuit of a truth that exists beyond the reach of social consensus. He is the master of the unseen, the king of his own internal landscape. Let us discuss the identity trap that consumes the modern soul. Most of you define yourselves by the categories the world provides: your job title, your bank account, your social circle, or the political tribe you've joined for protection. But what happens when those things are stripped away in the middle of the night? Who are you when the lights go out and there is no one there to validate your existence or tell you what to think? The outlier knows that his true identity is not found in a social category, but in the terrifying depth of his internal character. He does not seek to be different just for the sake of being rebellious, he is different because he refuses to lie to himself. This refusal to lie is the most difficult and painful discipline a human being can ever master. It requires you to face your own shadows, your own failures, and your own singular beauty without the comforting filter of social approval. When you stop seeking to belong, you become dangerous to the system. You cannot be manipulated by the fear of exclusion if you have already found a home within your own spirit. You cannot be bought with the currency of likes or status if you already know your intrinsic, unchangeable worth. This is the ultimate wealth. It is a wealth that no economic collapse and no social revolution can ever take away. In the year 2026, the most valuable asset you can possess is a mind that is not for sale to the highest bidder. The outlier is a person who has decided that their internal peace is far more important than their external popularity. They have realized that fitting in is just another word for fading out into the gray background of history. To be an original in a world of endless copies is the highest form of art and the only way to leave a mark on this earth that time cannot erase. This process of dying to the social self is painful. It feels like losing everything. You might feel like you are drifting in a void where no one hears you. But it is in this void that you finally hear the sound of your own soul. The noise of the crowd was so loud that you had forgotten what you actually sounded like. You had forgotten what you actually wanted. By letting the social you die, the real you is finally allowed to breathe. You start to see colors that the herd doesn't see. You start to hear the music of the spheres while they are listening to the static of the news. This is the transition from a social animal to a sovereign individual. It is the most important journey you will ever take, and it is a journey that must be taken alone. No one can hold your hand through the gate of authenticity. You must walk through it with your head held high, ready to face the silence of the outlier. As we close this 34th briefing of Timeless Wisdom, I want you to look at your life through a new, uncompromising lens. If you have always felt like an outsider, if you have never quite found your place in the circles of society, do not despair for another second. Do not view it as a curse or a defect of character. It is, in fact, the greatest blessing you could ever receive from the universe. It means your soul is still intact. It means you haven't been successfully processed by the heavy machine of conformity. Your lack of belonging is actually your sovereignty waiting to be claimed and wielded. The world does not need more people who can follow instructions and repeat slogans. It is starving for people who can lead themselves through the dark. It is starving for the man who is comfortable in his own skin, the woman who speaks her truth regardless of the social cost, and the spirit that refuses to be tamed by the small-mindedness of the era. Embrace the gap between you and the world. Do not try to close it with fake smiles or forced conversations. That gap is where your power lives. That gap is where your wisdom grows in the fertile silence of your own company. Stop trying to be a perfect piece of a broken social puzzle that wasn't built for you anyway. Start building a world of your own, according to your own internal laws and your own private light. The herd is comfortable, yes, but the outlier is the only one who is truly free to see the stars. When you stand on the edge of the crowd, you are the first one to see the sunrise while everyone else is still arguing in the dark. You are the pioneer of your own consciousness. Your isolation is not a prison, it is a laboratory where you are distilling the essence of your being into something pure and indestructible. Stay sharp. Stay focused. And above all, stay unchained from the desperate, suffocating need to be understood by those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your journey doesn't require a crowd to validate it, it only requires your own courage to continue. There is a deep, ancient peace that comes when you finally stop trying to be normal and start being real. This peace is your birthright. Do not sell it for a seat at a table where you are not respected. Walk your path with the quiet dignity of a king in exile, knowing that the exile is where the real work happens. This has been Timeless Wisdom. The world may not understand you today, but one day, it will be forced to learn from you. Walk your path, and let the world catch up to you whenever it is finally ready to see the truth. You are the outlier. You are free.